Greetings, everyone. I'm Sampath Veeraraghavan, the Global President of IEEE ETAKAPANU. I take great pride in welcoming you all to the second day of the 2023 IEEE-HKN TechX Conference. This conference is one of its kind to bring together global leaders in technology, industry, students to showcase the impact of continued professional development and career growth. This two-day virtual event is primarily focused on emerging technologies this year. So we will start with the day two with an exciting session and a panel from the IEEE Technical Activities Board. And as part of this panel, you will be hearing from the top leaders from IEEE TAB, IEEE APS site, and then IEEE MTT-S to learn about how the IEEE societies are leading the global frontiers of emerging technologies and what are some of the opportunities that HKN members and IEEE members can participate and can contribute to the larger benefit of humanity. With that brief note, I take great pleasure in welcoming to this session our first speaker, Dr. Fred, who is the VP-elect of IEEE Technical Activities Board. Dr. Fred has been a great IEEE volunteer and an amazing leader who has contributed immensely to the industry and comes with a broad range of knowledge, which I am pretty confident will inspire our HKN audience today. With that brief note, I welcome Dr. Fred first to deliver his key note on the tab today. Welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sampath, and hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let me share some slides. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I would just like to introduce technical activities to everyone, and kind of show how technical activities fit and how we hope to engage with you more. Okay, there we go. So this is just a quick look at the IEEE organization. And I'm showing you this so you can understand where technical activities fits and how we all kind of work together. So under the board of directors, which encompasses all of IEEE, we have 6 major boards. We have the Membership and Geographic Activities Board, Technical Activities, Publications, Services, and Products, Educational Activities Standards Association, and IEEE USA. Eta Kappa Nu actually falls underneath the Educational Activities Board. I'm here to talk about the Technical Activities Board, and you're probably already familiar with the Membership and Geographic Activities Board. As you probably know, IEEE is divided into 10 regions, 1 through 10. And within those regions, we have sections and geographic councils, and then ultimately chapters. Technical activities is similarly divided up into 10 divisions. So we have 10 regions and 10 divisions. And the divisions are technical areas. We have many more societies and councils than that. We have actually 46, but they map into these different divisions. So we've got 46 societies and councils, and then they also are responsible for the chapters. So chapters are where membership and geographic activities and technical activities meet. So each section may well have a chapter for each of the societies and councils, often joint chapters. So later on, you'll hear from Nuno Carvalho, who's the MTT president, and often we'll see MTT and Antenna and Propagation Society having a joint chapter, for example, in a specific section. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our vision. So technical activities, we want to be welcoming to technical professionals all over the world. We want this to be their technical home. We want to have a community that serves their needs and serves the benefit of humanity in alignment with IEEE's mission. And our mission statement kind of falls underneath, And so what we want to do is make sure that we encompass everyone, have a community for everyone. We appreciate that the technical world is becoming ever more interdisciplinary. So we want to make sure we can encourage as much of that activity as possible. We want to welcome people to our communities, help them participate, encourage them to become our future leaders. We want to make sure that we nurture all kinds of new technologies, emerging technologies. We want to help our professionals, regardless of what their technical area is, be successful and engaged for their entire careers and lives. And of course, we want to provide value to everyone. So let's take a look at the key parts of the Technical Activities Board. So I've mentioned that we have societies and technical councils. We also have technical communities. We also have a bunch of administrative functions. I'm not really going to be going into those. We have lots of committees that help coordinate our activities. So we can certainly feel free to ask questions about that, but I really want to focus on these three areas here. And let's start by talking about our societies and technical councils. So here's a list of all 46 of our societies and technical councils. And these have evolved over the years to try to encompass technical specialties for a wide range of professionals. So you'll see some that you would readily associate with IEEE. For example, the Antenna Propagation Society. I don't think I probably have to explain much about what they are. So they have a very specific technical area, and then you have, for example, the Reliability Society. So that cuts across many different technical specialties, but is also an area of its own. Then we have the Oceanographic Engineering Society, Professional Communication Society, Vehicular Technology Society, Power Engineering, Engineering and Medicine and Biology. So we have a wide range of different topical areas. Some are technical areas, and some kind of cut across. For example, professional communications or engineering management. It's also worth trying to describe the difference between societies and councils. So, societies are entities that have members and engage with their members and provide member services. Councils, on the other hand, are where societies collaborate. So our technical councils don't have members. They certainly have participants, but they don't have members. And so they have member societies. So, for example, if we go to the Systems Council, a large number of our societies will belong to the Systems Council because systems cuts across a lot of different areas. So MTT, for example, is a member of the Systems Council. And of course, all of these organizations are fueled by their volunteers. All right, so let's talk a little bit about technical communities. And this falls under what we call future directions. So we have our 46 societies and councils that have developed over, the history of IEEE and its predecessor organizations, actually. But the world continues to change, technologies continue to evolve, and new areas emerge. And so this is how we try to capture those. So we have a future directions organization that looks for areas, engages with new communities. And so on the right side here, you can see some of the activities that had been part of our future directions and have now moved on to other parts of IEEE. So they can become part of another society or council. Sometimes, there's not a need to for an area anymore. I don't see any of those here, but these activities, by and large, all continue. They can very well evolve into a society or council. And so, for example, we see transportation electrification over here on the right side. That actually evolved and is evolving into a council. So next year we expect that to become a council. That was brought forward to the Technical Activities Board last year, and that is well underway. And then we have the on the left side, we have the areas that are currently active. And so some of them don't have a logo yet, and those are our newest activities. So yeah, and you can see the ones that were just created in this year. So we're only not even halfway through the year, and we've already created new ones. So Future Directions Committee is continually looking for areas and communities to engage with, and so that's how we try to capture the continuing change in our technology environment. So there's obviously a lot more to learn about. So I'll leave this up for a while. So sorry about the long and cumbersome links here, but you can go to the first of these links to get a listing of all our societies and links to their governing documents and their websites and things like that. Each of our societies will have a fair amount of content for you. They all publish journals and magazines. They all run conferences, etc. The same thing with our technical councils. So you see a link for those as well. And then, just to learn more about TAB, and if you want to dig into all the various functions within the Technical Activities Board, you can go to the TA Ops site, ta.ieee.org. And then to learn about more about Future Directions and about the technical communities. So the first link just gets you to our Future Directions, so you can see how they operate and engage with them. And then if you're interested in any of the technical communities, including the ones that I showed before, you can click on that link. It'll take you there. So that's it for me. So I will stop sharing. All right.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Fred, for that amazing, very deep and insightful presentation on TAB. To our members out there, as you can see, IEEE, being the world's largest technical organization, you can see how TAB is actually completely driving, on advancing or contributing, to providing key opportunities for our members to engage in. So thank you again, Dr. Fred. We have an exciting Q&A session with a lot of questions that we'll hear from the audience. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Javed, the Global Chair of IEEE APS site group. Again, a few words about Javed is that he has been an amazing leader from academia who has put a lot of his technical skills for social good, and presently is leading the global portfolio of programs offered by IEEE Antenna Propagation Society. Welcome, Dr. Javed, and looking forward to hear from you more about how emerging technologies, specifically the area of APS site, is contributing to solve some of the universal challenges.
Thank you, Dr. Sampath, for inviting me to this session. It's a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure working with you since we're in the HAC committee. And so I'm representing the IEEE Antenna and Propagation Society, and I'll be briefly discussing about the site activities that we do from the APS point of view and the societal impacts it has. I've been leading this committee since 2021, and I'm also a vice chair of the Chapter Activities Committee of the Antenna and Propagation Society. Next slide, please. So the site committee members, the APS site committee members comprises of members from region 1 to 10. And these are members from different countries, and they're all APS members. And are stalwarts in their field of work and research. And what we have is a joint common passion for humanitarian use of technology, where we can use our knowledge for the benefit of humanity. And next slide, please. And that's how we join. So the focus areas of SITE, the APS side, is to inspire students and practitioners to make a difference in solving some chronic problems, including food, water, and communication, information access, and power and lightning. These are all allied with the UN Sustainable Goals. Uh, One of the major impact of APS side is to work in the field of disaster management, where APS members can help provide emergency communications so that this relief agent through the relief agencies to bring about the needed change and medical food and supplies in regions which are impacted with a disaster, natural calamities. And we did some work where we used our resources and got members who are adapt to use ham radios for disaster management. So that's one of the areas that we work on and try to educate our members with. We had technical sessions and workshops on wireless sensor networks for first responders and disaster relief. We are encouraging young students. Recently, we sponsored a program called YOTA, that's Youth on the Air, where we train young students, grade 11, 12 students on ham radios and amateur radios and the associated technology involved with this. So we always encourage young students to learn about this technology where they can act in the hour of need. We also leverage local chapters for membership growth activities and collaborations, networks, and interactions with local universities, institutes, and government agencies. And we also fund projects, pilot projects, which are used for the benefit of humanity. They could be on a small scale that can be, scaled up for larger benefit. Next slide, please. So some of the APS side projects that we implemented over the years will be seen next. Next slide, please. So this is a project which we started in 2015, where we use remote diagnosis and monitoring of patients in rural India. And there is a need. There is always a dearth for doctors in remote and rural areas, and especially specialists. So what we did, we used technology, that's wearable sensor. We used an electronic stethoscope to take it to a remote area, to a rural area in India, and where we sent the information, the lung auscultation over the data, the network that we had in the rural area through a cell phone, and to a doctor in the city who could do a diagnosis and send the information back. So the doctor would be in the city and the patients could be in the villages. And we could transmit information and get at least the first line of diagnosis done for a patient or for any underlying ailment that could be, that could be an issue in the villages. Next slide, please. So the bottom line of this project was to integrate wireless technology with the existing medical application for the betterment of humanity. Next slide, please. And so we, got some patients in the village. We used a nurse. Now, IEEE also, IEEE site especially, always try to educate the local. We try to engage the local community and educate them, because it's not possible for us to be in those parts, perpetually and help those villages. So we try to educate students, or we try to educate the local community or local health officials who would be adapt to use this technology on patients, and this could be a sustainable effort. And even so, what we found is that there are many nurses, there are many like women in the villages who had some nursing training, and we trained them how to use like a blood pressure instrument, sphygmomanometer, or an electronic stethoscope, and could use the laptop so that this data could be sent to the doctor in the city. Next slide, please. We also had a partnership with IEEE Humanitarian Activities. We had a joint call for paper in 2022 where we encouraged all APS members and otherwise and all IEEE members from all over the globe to apply for proposals where we funded from $3,000 to $5,000 for several projects. So we received several projects, and out of that, 10 projects were approved after evaluation. And this is the encouragement we provide to IEEE members from our community, from the APS Society, where we encourage projects and we fund them. And like if a project is suitable and it benefits humanity, and that's how we go forward and encourage more students to join or more members to join APS and aligned with our Humanitarian Activities Committee. Next slide, please. Some of the APS hack projects that were approved. There was a project in Uganda that was an IoT-based indoor air quality management system for sustainable health management. It was done during the period of COVID. There was a project that was supported in Kolkata section in India. That's development of IoT-based virtual laboratory system. We supported an event in Pune, IoT-based cloud monitoring system for agricultural application. There's another supporting project in Pune, which was supported known as Eureka 2022, which was dealing with educating children in the slum, educating them, especially for getting STEM education for those underprivileged children. We supported a project in Turkey where electromagnetic engineering for K-12 high school students. In Islamabad, there's a project which engaged orphans by technology. That is, they went to our orphanage and trained them how to use technology and the development and progress of technology. There was a project in Pune, which was called Swast, similar to a healthcare monitoring system. We had a project in Kerala, which was called Light Up, spread light in darkness. That is using solar powered lamps in areas where there was no electricity. There was a project in the UP section in India again, which was related to IoT-based real-time water quality monitoring system. There was a project in Egypt, IoT educational management and consultancy system for Egyptian public schools. So you can see the projects that were approved were from all around the globe, from several parts of the world, from Asia to Africa, and to Middle East and Europe. Next slide, please. So yes, what I can say for HKN members is that we support, we fund projects, we support ideas on humanitarian technology, and we teamed up with Hack last year, and it was a fantastic, wonderful venture, and would love to receive more proposals, and we would evaluate the proposal. We have our own set of rubrics to evaluate those proposals, and we are looking for new ideas for the benefit of humanity. So that's what the APS Society, the site committee of the APS Society has been looking for. And thank you, Sampath, for giving me this platform to showcase our cause.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Javed. Again, a huge call out here is that, last year, the last 2 years, as you all know, I served as the global chair of the Humanitarian Technology Committee, which is the board right now.
Right.
I think as you can clearly see, the mission of IEEE is to, foster technological excellence and innovations for the benefit of humanity, right? And that's where, like, the TAB as a society not only give you the direct opportunity, as an engineer to, to get the knowledge to, improve on your skill. In addition to that, it also provides you the opportunity to give it back to the society directly through the technology-based humanitarian programs.
Exactly.
That is where the APS, society, has a special program which is led by Dr. Javed, where basically, if you have a great idea which can serve the needs of the local community, you could actually, apply for this funding opportunity, to transform your ideas into actionable plan. So this is again an example that our TAB, not only through its society programs and technical councils, have greater impact, but and also it showcases how they foster collaboration with major boards like STB, and provide meaningful and impactful avenues where members and HKN audience could participate and benefit from. So, Dr. Javed, thank you again for that
Yes,
insightful presentation.
I would
We
like
have,
to.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I'd like to emphasize one point. Like we also encourage membership of APS to apply for project. But then, even if the projectee, the applicant is not an APS member, he can still apply for the project as long as he become member through the course of the project. So it's open to all on the globe. So anyone, any IEEE member can ask for proposal the funding for these proposals.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll have a lot more questions that we'll ask Dr. Javed, but without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Nuno, the Global President of IEEE MTT-S. Again, Dr. Nuno is a globally renowned technical leader when it comes to the microwave field. So we are very excited because we had a great partnership with them on different avenues. But for HKN, we are super thrilled to have such an eminent personality today. So as you can see in this panel session, we had the 360-degree view about the tab from the VP-elect from Dr. Fred. Then we saw example of how the society is offering opportunities to solve problems faced by the local community. Now you will also hear from a global leader on how what are some of the advanced emerging topics which the societies are offering for skill development, and also to inspire our members to participate. So without any further ado, now a great pleasure introducing Dr. Nunu, and I welcome him to give a special talk today, primarily focus on the MTTS innovation that he is leading right now. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well. So I will, can you move to the next slide, please? I will briefly present the Microwave Theory and Technology Society, and I will show you a little bit of what we do on the Microwave Theory and Technology Society, but will be focused in areas that I'm more familiar, because the MTT is really a very large community. So the current administration committee officers is a quite large committee, and here I'm mainly presenting the current group that is actually in front of this management, which is Professor Maurizio Bozzi will be our president-elect next year, will be the president, Valentina Palazzi, our general secretary, and Kamram Gorbani, our treasurer. Next slide, please. So the MTT-S was the Microwave Theory and Technique Society. And this year, we changed our name to be called Microwave Theory and Technology Society. And you'll see during my presentation why we decide to call ourselves the Microwave Theory and Technology. And by microwave, most of the people associate microwaves to our microwave oven, which is a microwave solution. But microwave is mainly everything that is related with radio, wireless technology, and microwaves, millimeter waves, and terahertz. So we are called also the megahertz to terahertz community, where every, let's say, high frequency signal, every electromagnetic signal that we can use, we use it for several applications. Next slide, please. So the scope of the microwave theory and technology spans from RF devices and components and circuits. And mainly, I will show you today some of the examples. If you want to do a filter, if you want to do a power amplifier for a microwave signal or a radio signal, these are the RF components and circuits. But we also focus on fundamentals, because most of the circuits that you design today, when you go for your university and your classes, your courses, you design those circuits in a CAD-CAI, so in a computer-aided design system. And microwave theory technology also focus on this type of simulation tools that can help you to design your circuits and systems. And as I said, the MTT spans the spectra from megahertz to terahertz. So you have a significant number of activities on low frequency. For us, low frequency is megahertz. or very high frequencies, which is terahertz. And sometimes we also go to close to optics, that is the photonic aspect of this spectra, of these electromagnetic signals. And as you see, we in the society, we address a significant number of systems and applications of radio signals and how radio signals can help us in the day-to-day life. And if you think a little bit, what you have around you, most of the devices that you have are at this moment electromagnetic based, are at this moment wireless connected, and that needs antennas, as the previous speaker discussed, but also needs the RF front ends, and this is actually our scope. Next slide, please. And here I show a significant number of photos from our colleagues. These are what we call our distinguished microwave lecturers. And what these colleagues are doing, well, they can go to your university, they can go to your chapter, they can go to your area and talk about technology on their specific. Sorry, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I may have a problem with my headphone. Yes, okay. So, well, thank you. So, as I was saying, if you look here, some of our speakers talk from quantum communications up to Internet of Things, RFID, wireless radars, wireless communications, and a significant number of other areas and other topics. Next slide, please. And today I will briefly discuss what MTT and what radio technology does. And if you can see here, what I'm representing here is your mobile phone. So most of you have one of these mobile phones in your pocket. And if you look to the circuits, the radio communication circuit, which is, I actually put it in the left side of the mobile phone. If you look to that, what you see is that inside most of the phones, you have a huge number of antennas. As I said, the previous speaker already talked about antennas. But behind the antenna, we have all the RF front end. And what you see there in a schematic is an RF super heterodyne transmitter and receiver, is what we call a transceiver. And so the MTT society is mainly focused not only to the system as a whole, as you can see there, but is also focused on the filters, on the power amplifiers, as you can see, the mixers, local oscillators, and these are the components of an RF front end, and there are a lot of difficulties, and there are a significant number of activities that we continue to do in terms of research to actually improve these solutions. Next slide, please. And one of these problems that we face at this moment is energy. And why I'm saying I'm talking about energy when I'm talking about wireless communications? Well, I'm talking about energy because if you know it better than me. Most of the times you need to charge your phone. You really need to go and try to connect your phone to actually connect and charge and have a battery for your phone. And why is this happening? Well, this is happening because if you see the graph that I'm showing there, this is the graph, what is called a data sheet of a power amplifier. And what you see there, you see that a power amplifier for mobile operation is around several efficiency around 40%, 50% as maximum. What that means? It means that if we need to transmit 1 watt, 50% of that 1 watt will be dissipated in heat. So one challenge for our engineers in the microwave community is really to how to improve the efficiency of these systems. And 5G, you already heard probably talking about 5G. And if you read the text that I put there, 5G is a very good system. It will give you a lot of bandwidth, so you can see streaming wherever you want. But the problem with 5G is that if you connect your mobile phone in 5G, your battery will run out very fast. And this is a problem. So there are a significant number of interest and a significant number of companies and industry looking for engineers that can actually improve the energy efficiency of the system. And this is one topic that we actually manage in the MTT society. Next slide, please. And if you look to the IoT, you probably heard about Internet of Things. This is also another very important topic today. We want everything to be connected. We want everything to have a connection to the internet. But when we make this connection, what you see on these graphs that I'm showing here is that even if the sensors are in standby mode, they spend a lot of energy. So we need to actually improve how we manage this energy. Next slide, please. One possibility to manage this energy is what I'm showing here is we can do harvest energy. Some of our colleagues in MTT, they are actually harvesting energy from the electromagnetic waves. Why? Because you have electromagnetic waves all around. Why not harvest that energy? We can do a very interesting topic also, which is wireless power transmission. Some of our colleagues are doing wireless power transmission or micro generation of energy for our sensors. And we can increase the efficiency in the system. As I already told you, we can increase the efficiency by designing better power amplifiers, or we can increase the efficiency by using backscatter. I will show you an example in the next slide. Next slide, please. Well, the first one is wireless power transmission. Wireless power transmission is really what the name says. I want to transmit power, energy using electromagnetic waves. Well, this is not new. It goes back to Tesla. And this is an example, a graph of the Tesla at that time. And what is the idea is that you have, as you have antennas or base stations to communicate with your mobile phone, you can also have antennas that will deliver energy to your phone, to your sensor, and there are very huge projects to deliver energy from space to ground for Earth as an alternative for energy supply. Next slide, please. And as I was saying, one of the biggest groups working on wireless power transmission are really trying to do what you see there. Well, you see there a graph from the European Space Agency, but on the side you see some examples on China, in the United States, in Japan, and also in Europe, where actually what they want to do, they want to collect solar energy outside of the Earth and bring that energy to ground using wireless links. And there are several studies that say this is more efficient than having, for instance, a solar farm in the Earth. And these are some of the topics where our colleagues, and it's mainly a combination, to be honest, of microwaves and antennas, because the microwave colleagues work on the front-end design, the antenna colleagues work on the antenna part. And some of these systems use what it's called antenna arrays. That is, I connect antennas to communicate with this. Next slide, please. And this is also an example of one of astronaut on board of ISS showing that there is electromagnetics around, so you can collect that energy. Next slide, please. And yeah, so we can also communicate without batteries. I will not spend time here, but if you are interested, we have a group of colleagues working on what it's called RFID and backscatter systems. And there is, and here I'm showing an example of the Second World War, where they actually use systems that do not use batteries to operate. Next slide, please. And this was done in the past also to do spy equipment. And if you are interested on this topic, where some of our colleagues work, you can actually read The Thing. If you search on Wikipedia by The Thing, you'll see this instrument that was a very important no battery spy equipment in the past. Next slide, please. And next slide. And of course, if you go and if you want to look to other solutions, if you go to an airplane, you see a lot of radio frequency systems on board, antennas and front ends. So antennas and propagation, like the previous colleague talked, and also microwave tuning techniques is technology, is also on the airplanes, on the cars, on the satellites. So we deal with most of the technology on board of these solutions. Next slide, please. And we have also a significant number of colleagues working on software-defined radio, where you actually build all these in a FPGA so that you can receive the signal. And in the next slide, you can see how can we integrate all these into a microwave monolithic integrated circuit, which is we can integrate these also in a very small circuit. And this is also a topic of interest in microwave technology. Next slide. And how can you know more about these technologies? Well, MTT has a lot of conferences around the world. So I'm sure that you'll find a conference where we are talking about this. And next slide. I'm running out of time. Yes, next slide. You can also see this in our publications. Next slide. And just this is my last slide. So you if you are a student and if you want to join MTT Society to actually talk with all these colleagues working on this topic, the cost at this moment, if you are an IEEE member for students and graduate students, is only $1, and you can actually come to our society and discuss these topics. I ran out of my time. Sorry about that. So I will probably stay here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nuno. That's a great presentation. Now we'll get all the speakers back here. So we'll take a couple of quick Q&A here. We'll have Dr. Fred, Dr. Javed. So thank you again, first of all, on behalf of HKN. This is a quite very, very dense, I would say, in-depth session from TAB. And of course, we are trying to compress it so that people can understand, what are the breadth and width of offerings that comes from TAB. So really, really honored and humble, and thanks to three of the great leaders what we have here, Dr. Fred, Nuno, and Javed. So my first question is basically to Dr. Fred. So, Fred sir, I think one of the interesting question that was posed by the audience is that, hey, what are some of the opportunities that TAB offers for skill development, especially for students and young professionals, right? When they join some of the society, how they can contribute. So, love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. We heard some details from Jawad and from Nuno about what their societies do. And pretty much any society will do something along similar lines. So you'll find a wealth of different activities if you're interested in engaging in humanitarian areas or innovative technologies. There are contests that many societies run, so especially student competitions. Conferences are a great way to engage with a community. So each society, if you go to the website, you'll see conferences. There's actually an IEEE conference search. I don't have the URL off the top of my head, but if you just Google IEEE conference search, you can see what conferences are coming up in your area. I would say join a chapter in your local area that's in an area of interest to you, and that way you can see the microwave. Well, all the distinguished lecturers. AP has distinguished lecturers. Microwave Technology Society has lecturers. All of them do. There will be lecturers coming around many different communities throughout the year, talking about lots of different interesting topics. And then if you're interested in an emerging area, just reach out to go to the website or in some cases the social media page for one of our technical communities and just engage. We're very welcoming. We especially appreciate new voices, youthful energy. So we want to welcome all.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fred. That's a very insightful answer. I'm pretty sure the students and young professionals will be excited to hear about all this great opportunity offered by TAB. And again, heartiest congratulations for being the VP-elect, and we are really thrilled to see you leading TAB to newer, greater heights next year. Now, I have another interesting question here. This is for Dr. Javed. So, Dr. Javed, the primary theme of this conference is emerging technologies, and we love hearing from you all about how society, TAB, and what are the various engagement opportunities. So, my question to you is, what are some of the emerging technologies that you have seen that IEEE members are leveraging to solve the grander and greater like sustainable development challenges, the universal challenges, right?
Well,
Maybe from your experience, you can talk about few of the proposals you have seen, some examples, that may be helpful. How these technologies can
yes.
be.
Yes, in fact, one of our like the newer slides, which I could show, it had few slides. The newer presentation had some slides, which talks about wearable technology. Like when we talk about wireless, communication, we have this RFID and the wearable technology in wearable antennas. That's so useful for this. It can be used for humanitarian activities, like the data that can transmit from wearable technology. Like you have everything on the iWatch or the Apple Watch, right? So the ECG, you have a single late ECG on a watch where the data can be transmitted to the doctors and some underlying disease can be detected, heart anomalies can be detected. Another thing for climate change, I would like to say that we can. There's a proposal that we are trying to fund, which uses drone UAV technology with sensors, and that can detect methane emission from paddy fields. And we know that methane is more harmful than CO2, and that's so much required. This data is all required for understanding climate change and how the emission of methane is impacting the environment. So these are ideas that came from. From IEEE members, from young minds, and I'm sure there are new ideas that we're going to see in future, and we're looking forward to such proposals which we can fund.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Javad. That's very impressive and quite excited to know. Now, I do wanted to check with Dr. Nuno. Again, Dr. Nuno, thanks for that very, very depth, insightful presentation. My question to you is, I mean, this could be a common question as well. I mean, since you are from the microwave, industry, technology, my question back to you is, climate change is a very hot topic right now, right? And can you provide some examples how IEEE members can leverage the technical expertise on emerging technologies to address some of the challenges of climate change?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. So climate change is really a very hot topic, and the president of IEEE is taking that as their main goal. So what engineers, electrical engineers, can do for climate change? And I think there are three, from my point of view, there are three paths. One is generation of clean energy, and there are several ways to do it. In the MTT, we are looking to this solar-based power satellite. This is a topic of interest for some of our technical committees on wireless power transmission. There are ways to reduce and to increase the efficiency of the circuits. If you think a little bit, most of the time your mobile phone is losing power for eating, because you pick up your phone, you see it's very hot, and this is because it's not 100% efficient, and most of the time is also spending time on the monitor of your mobile phone and so on. So all the circuits should be optimized, and this is, I think, an endeavor issue that it's not only MTT, it's MTT, it's AP, it's AMC, it's everybody, to be honest, should be optimizing this. And finally, we need to have non-pollution devices on the ground. I saw in the comments that some students are talking about batteries and solar panels and so on. They are very important at this moment, but I agree with some of the comments. Batteries at the end, they are garbage, so they create pollution. So for climate change, we need also to evaluate this in a general world. And it's not only an MTT or AP problem; it's an IEEE problem, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nuno. I mean, again, as you rightly pointed out, one hand, we have the advancements in emerging technology. Then the other hand, we have about 50% of the earth people are struggling to have clean water access, which are interconnected to the climatic change. So the
Exactly.
call out here is that, as an engineer, as a technologist, we have a direct impact on the society through innovations and our products. But in addition, the decisions we make in the choice of leveraging the emerging technologies has both positive and negative impact that we have to think through it from an end-to-end standpoint. So again, I would like to wrap up this session, this panel, by taking this opportunity to thank, Dr. Fred, the TAB, VP-elect, Dr. Nuno, the president of IEEE MTT-S, and Dr. Javed, the global chair of IEEE APS site, for accepting our invitation and joining hands with IEEE ETA-KPANU. IEEE ETA-KPANU is really thrilled and happy and proud to have you all today. And this was a fantastic and exciting session. I'm pretty confident our members are very happy about this. Thank you once again for
Thank
joining
you very
us
much.
and sharing your wisdom and leadership with us, experience with
Thank
us.
you so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank you, Dr. Noonan. Thank you,
It's
Dr.
been a
Fred.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
It's been
everybody.
a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
And audience, we will see you in the keynote in few minutes. Thank you all again.